Facebook.
All right, everybody, we are live. All right, we're here to first off celebrate the new #1 international best-selling book, Magnetize Media. Here with my good friend Willie J and the gentleman who wrote the foreword for us, the Cardinal Cowboy. I'm so glad to have you guys here with us. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Let's talk about Magnetize Media.
Absolutely. Well, hey, it's an honor to be here, and it's a blessing to have achieved another milestone with the legend Steve Kidd, legendary Steve Kidd, and the Cardinal Cowboy, good friends, both good friends, and to have the Cardinal Cowboy on the map with us for this #1 international bestseller, man. That's your first one, right, man? How does that feel? Giddy up, right?
Well, I actually started. I'm gonna take my little earbuds off. I started writing my own book before the world changed. We all know what I'm talking about 5 years ago, and kind of got stuck a little bit. And then you and I talked, and I was like, man,
Yeah.
give me a little feedback. You've got what, 10 best-selling books now? Is that right,
Yeah,
Willie?
it's 11. This is
11 now. Okay,
yeah,
now
it was 10 when we
it's all
talked.
11
Yeah,
now.
when we
Okay.
talked, yeah.
But I was like, and you were a guest on my show originally,
Absolutely.
4 years ago, 5 years ago.
At least
And
two or three times. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you were on my
Three
show
times.
2 or 3 more times since then. And I
Yeah.
was like, this guy's magnetic. Maybe we should write a book. No, it was your idea. You said, let's write a book. You're writing a book, and you would like me to contribute. So when I got the offer to write the foreword, it was such an honor, man. Thank you for letting me contribute. Because, the media, the media world, like, if you're not getting involved with this new thing called social media, you will be out of business, or you will struggle on this planet. We all have our own personal brand. I was a sales guy. I was the #1 sales guy for a big national company, 1,800 sales rep, #1 guy in the company. Our vice president was so cool, know him personally. Would hang out with him and go to Chicago and hang out with him. He's a Cubs fan. That's all right.
Yeah.
And he said, everybody's got to build their own brand. Isn't that the truth here, Willie? I mean, this media stuff, holy cow, build your own brand. Learn, show people who you are, what you offer to the world.
Yeah. We believe in be the brand, become the brand. Be the brand that you're pitching out and launching and, your pitch, right? So and we're teaching you in this book and sharing just some secret sauces, right, fellas, on how to become a magnet, not chase media, but have the media chase you, building momentum. Yeah. And Steve, which one is this for you? 35?
37 for me, actually. Yeah.
You've had 37 #1 top-selling books.
Yes, 37 #1 international best-selling book.
Yeah.
So
man.
I'll ask you a question. I do interviews all the time, so I'm not trying. You guys are, but I'd say, man, I guess once you get good at something, it's like anything. I try to tell people, once you get your first one done, that's the hardest part. Getting the first one done, then the second one, then you get up to Willie's level. You got 11, and now you can just know how to do this like the back of your hand. Is that what's going on here, Steve?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, given the particular subject of the book, I can do a book anywhere from 2 to 3 days to 2 to 3 years, just depending on how much I fight what's coming out of me at the time. But yeah, I mean, I've helped just shy of 5,000 folks now become best-selling authors. It's what we do all day long.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some of those names. Check some of those names out, though. He's worked with Matthew Knowles. That's Beyonce's father. Lisa Nichols. Very successful sister in the game and changing the game from, I believe, Inglewood, California or something. I think she's originally from there.
She was from Inglewood. She actually lives in Jamaica now.
Yeah, Jamaica now, I believe. Yeah. So, yeah, man, Steve's been, I thank God for Steve, Cardinal Cowboy. Let me tell you, man, he put the fire under my feet to finally put out my solo book, Never Stop Winning, personal growth book, that recently, a few months ago, with #1 international bestseller. But I've been sitting on that book for almost 2 years, over 2 years. Just making, lost some of the manuscript even and had to redo it again. And so many nuances, man. And we've been, become great friends and finally connected with them. I believe it was after the LA Weekly featured me as #1 amazing revolutionist or whatever, revolutionizing our industry. I believe it was a top 10. And I met Steve a few years ago, and man, we've been chopping it up ever since. And then the Cardinal Cowboy I met through Aaron Emick, who recently did a book with us, right? The Celebrate Win Your Way. We were celebrating Never Stop Winning. And I brought him on board to write his first, #1 international bestseller with me and Steve. And now here we are with the Cardinal Cowboy, who I have a great rapport with. And let's just say it's surreal, man. And these kind of people, Steve, this is dude. You've heard me talk about them and prayed about it, and I'll say, man, there would be nobody greater than to do, especially in the media aspect of the game. And it's just been a solid dude during the foundational pieces, right, of Pure Mission Entertainment. I met you through Aaron Emick, right?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, Aaron has been one of the best connections for me because, and I was just running around the community, and they do an annual award, and I think they're still doing it. It's been a couple years since I've been too involved with them, but every year they give an award for somebody who's helping youth sports in the St. Louis area.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I got a call and says, hey, you've been selected as the winner of this award for helping youth sports. I'm like, what are you talking about? Where'd this come from? And then I looked it up. I'm like, holy cow. Last year they gave it to Jackie Joyner-Kersee, who's the best female athlete in the history of the world. A lot of people say.
Same city.
So I make the joke. I'm like, and so I guess this year they wanted to step it up a notch and give it to the Cardinal Cowboy, right?
Yeah.
It was a joke. That was a joke. And so I was like, wow, this is a big deal. And so then I got to know Aaron quite a bit through all of that and all the great things they do, because they really help kids get, connected in life through sports and how sports is so impactful to help people develop their skills. And I met you, Willie. You and I were at an event. I said, man, you need to be on my TV show. So we worked it out. And I got some sponsors for that, and we got you on. And then I just saw what you took from where you were 5 years ago, well-known guy, and just going off the charts. I mean, like literally, I use you as an example. I'm like, you're on my TV show, sponsored thing to what we do. It'll help your business. Go look what happened to Willie J, what Willie J did, because you knew what to do with this.
Yeah.
And that's where I go back. I'd like to ask Steve, where did the idea for magnetizing media come from? Because, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, who didn't think about that before? But duh, I mean, what a great book, and how this is going to help so many people.
Yeah, Willie and I were talking in one of our talks that we do, at least once a week, sometimes 2-3 times a week. We're like, we need to do another book. And it's like, what do we need to write about? It's like, well, it's the next thing. I mean, now that you've got the book, you've got to do something with it, because there's no money in books. I mean, it's in what you do with the book. And it's like, well, what do we need to do? And so we started talking about that whole concept of attraction and, the places that both the law of attraction kind of lets people down as well as that. And it's like, no, you got to magnetize it. You got to be the magnet yourself. You got to draw them in. You got to be the thing that people want to be a part of. I mean, it's the age old. I remember the old saying, and I'm not saying that I'm going to go get a lighter and light myself on fire, but I love the old saying, light yourself on fire and let the world watch you burn. I mean, it's kind of that kind of thing. And I mean, it's just, you've got that hot, cool spark inside of you, and it needs to be shown, but you have to draw the people into you,
That's
I was talking to my mom recently. I'm like, I've never accomplished anything in life of significance if I didn't go out and go after it. If you're waiting for everything to come to you, that's not the way it works, right? Once you've developed yourself and you become somebody that can draw an audience, but to get to that level, you've got to work up to that. And they don't just wake up one day. I mean, we always have these crazy examples, some flash in the pan, but they burn out as fast as they light up, right? And if you want to be there for a significant amount of time, you've got to do something impactful that helps people and gets the attention. If you don't get their attention, nothing else matters. That's why I started wearing this Cardinal Cowboy hat. I just watched my little speech I gave 6 years ago as the #1 rep in the company in front of an audience of 600 people. They have an auditorium. And I started off, I said, should I wear my hat? He goes, is it part of your sales pitch? I go, yeah. So I just watched it. I hadn't seen it in a while. I watched it the other day because it's got a big audience. It's a good little showcase piece. And it says, and I get in front of the crowd and I go, so I walk into the room tossing out $100 bills. No, that's a song. But I walk into the room with a hat on, and there's people, they go, what's going on here, right? It's hard not to notice, right? I've got the attention. Now, what do I do with it? And that's where my mom is kind of cocked. She's like, what are you doing to get all this attention? And once she saw us helping people and sharing my story about overcoming a coma, and then partnering up with people like Willie J and now you, Steve, This is where you really get to impact people. This is where you get to take things to another level and really contribute. And you've got to create that magnetic. I love the title, magnetic. Things that like literally, like you ever take a magnet and stick it up some kind of metal? It doesn't just kind of go. No, it goes right, and they connect. Right. And now you've got them, and you're bonded with them. What are you going to do to help them convey what they need to learn about life and do better and step up or teach you something? You have that magnetic attraction. Both pieces are connected. There's one that's drawing it, the other one's attracted to it. Now they work together, and magnets. We get into the whole story about magnets and what they do. They create energy, right? So
that's right.
Here we are.
That's right. And they're moving in motion. You got a magnet right here, and you got one right here, and you have to be in motion to become magnetic. You got to take action, gain traction, and then attraction. Right? That's the key.
Yeah. Well, and then you got to recognize what you're magnetizing too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are magnets. They're just magnets to a whole lot of not good stuff,
We address that. That's true. All media is not good media. It's the media that's conducive to you, the brand that you're trying to promote and market. Some people say, all promotion is good promotion and all media attention. No. You have to, attract the right media so that it can cause a ripple effect and it becomes a domino effect. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. And right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree with you because I've had a couple people that just made things up, just completely lied. It was not good what someone were saying. I mean, it's complete lies. I looked through. I'm like, I'm not even going to address this, but it did draw some attention, and people were like, "Who is this guy? I never heard of him." There's a few people, believe it or not, in St. Louis who haven't heard of the Cardinal Cowboy, and they looked at what the guy was talking about. I was at a charity event, donating my time. My girlfriend hurt her foot, so we didn't actually run the race because she hurt her foot. I'm like, she's the one who wants to run this thing. And I can't go finish the race without her. Let me walk her back. Somebody saw me do that and said, "Oh my gosh, you didn't even run the race." I'm like, we didn't even try. Go look at my name got removed. I said, take my name out of the list of people that finished the 5K charity race. And so, but the point Willie made there, I agree with, is that was a big pain in my patootie. I did not like dealing with that. And it doesn't happen very often, but it sticks in your mind. It did gain some attention. So that's why I should be all media is good media. Trust me, I would rather not have dealt with all of that. But what you focus on is the good stuff and the positive things and the things that energize and help people. And the more of that you create, the more positive things you generate that come back to you. And that's what Willie does a great job with. That's Steve, obviously, something you've done well. I'm getting my feet wet in the book area, right? And I showed my mom. I said, because Willie was sending me stuff. So we're at dinner, and I said, hey, didn't even think about this because we came to eat dinner just anyway, but we're going to celebrate something. She's like, what? I go, check this out. I held it up. I'll pull it up here, Willie, for everybody. But there's that image you sent me. It says, great looking image. Authors, Steve Kidd, Willie J. And at the bottom it says, foreword written by the Cardinal Cowboy. I said, Mom, when did you ever think you'd have a son who wrote a book that now as an author, a contributor to that book, is now on a list of people that have written books that are #1 selling books in the country and now internationally. Yeah, and it's mostly because I've associated with the right people. Steve, I would never have met you had I not been friends with Willie. And Willie and I weren't paying each other, making a bunch of money. Right. We were out there just helping each other, talking about good things and promoting those types of things. And by association, we were brought in because we were the ones talking about it. And it ends up on ABC, and it ends up on social media. And now look at all this craziness. And hopefully we get to do a lot more of it.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Well, now that we've got you hooked in with one book, now we'll talk about finishing off that book that you said you were working on 5 years ago, or whatever book needs to come out now, whatever life is. But I mean, it's
moments and momentum. Moments and momentum, man. Hey, check it out. You take that off of the word momentum. What do you have there, Cardinal Cowboy? I know Steve heard me say this many times.
Moments. You got a moment. Yeah, you said that one on my show. I'm like, what moment?
Create moments.
You got to create these moments in life, or else they pass you by. I mean, you can look at the negative things that happened to you. I was hit by a drunk driver, was in a coma. That was a bad moment, but I bounced back from it, turned into something positive. I think about it now. I could be a broke. Let me start this off differently. I could be a former professional Major League Baseball broke baseball player. Statistically, the odds are pretty high that even if you make it to the major league level, not the professional level, because minor leagues is still professional, but the big league level, it's like still like 30 to 50%. I might be higher than that. I think it's around 50% in MLB. And I know a lot of guys who I played with, and they made it to the MLB. I can name personal friends I grew up with, great guys. And it just seems like, and this is the way it is, after your career's over, your time is spent, that's it. And you can still do things and go to shows and get signings and stuff like that. But I'm fortunate to have been guided a different way by God or whoever it is you want to say led me down this path with a horrible accident, but also turned into something positive. And now I get to interact with people. And I have people come up to me, like you said, they're magnetically coming to me like, oh my gosh, it's the Cardinal Cowboy. Can I get a picture with you? And my friends are standing here going, do we have to do this again, Cowboy? I'm like, hey, man, but I mean, that's what we're talking about. Here's that magazine. Here's the front of that. If I can get that in front of my camera number.
There you go.
So right there at the bottom, I'll zoom in there a little bit for everybody. There it is, everybody. Forward by the Cardinal Cowboy. Is my camera reversed here, but they can figure that out. And so again, thanks you guys. This is another next level in my life. When Willie was updating me, he's like, it's just about to get released. First, he was like, Carter, where's your content? You were going to write this. I'm like, sorry, Willie, it was home opener. It was home opener and a bunch of craziness. Bad timing for my life, but I'll get it done. And I just hammered it out one night. I already written it in my mind and a kind of an outline. But I said, here we go. And I read it a couple times. I'm like, fixed a couple things. I'm like, go get it. My mom said, did you proofread it? I'm like, I think they proofread it. I hope. I proofread it too.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
But we'll get that. But this is the kind of impact you get to have. And tell me, Willie and Steve, is this just a matter of you go out and do it? You stop talking about it. You stop thinking about it. You stop whining about what's not going on in your life, and you just go out and do it.
Yes.
I mean, it didn't take me 6 years to write that. It took me one night of focused time and energy to write that. Send it off. And the next thing I know, we're already bestseller in our category. Then we're
multiple.
And then we're bestseller internationally. I'm like, wait, are there other planets we can start selling?
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
If Amazon sets up a branch on Mars or whatever, we're gonna we'll go to galactic bestseller.
Intergalactic.
I like it.
An intergalactic journey, right?
Well, tell me how long you guys we plan. We've been doing this for about 15 minutes now. I'll stay on for another hour if you want.
Yeah.
But you tell me the plan. I want to hear more from Steve too. I know Willie's story great. Both of you guys need to come in my studio. Steve, where are you located at?
I already told Steve
about
he's
3 hours west of Kansas City, so I'm about 7 hours from you. You're in St.
Well, you
Louis,
don't
right?
have to drive here. You can. You're welcome to, or fly. Either way. Some people fly from Kansas City. I don't know what's the big.
We're meeting. Look,
Well,
check this out,
the Salina. I live in the middle of nowhere, man. I'm about an hour north of Salina Airport in this little town of 400 people. But yeah, like I said, it's like a 7-hour drive. You know, I mean, I can go to St. Louis or I can go to Dallas, and it's about the same distance from where I live.
Dallas is a little bigger than St. Louis, but not quite. We got Dallas Stars, we got the St. Louis Blues, but now it's
we're going to get them down here. Yeah, Steve's coming down, man. So I already told Steve that we're going to come to ABC 30 with him. Steve's legendary in his own right, man. You know.
Well, we can do a stream like this. I've got a new setup. There used to be a link you had to send. Willie, you've seen me do that a couple times, I think, where you send a link and they just open their camera. Now, and there used to be some, because I'm a computer guy by trade, building Microsoft Exchange servers. After a coma, I'm running the email systems for the largest brewing company in the world. What were these guys thinking, letting me do that? But I proved what I could do, and so they let me do it. But the technology's out there now. Now, I said, there's a way you can program this link and put whatever. And I was like, all right. And then now Zoom can plug right into our production software. So when I produce a TV show that airs on ABC, now we just send somebody a Zoom link. They join the Zoom meeting. You got a little more control there, too, because you can say, hey, that guest is done. Bring that, put them in the waiting room. Bring the next guest in. Haven't done a hotline, but we just got that integrated, and it looks great, too. It's high quality, high def. So, Steve, I'm begging you now. When are you going to be on, man? You need to be on like tomorrow.
Okay. I have time in my schedule tomorrow. You send me a calendar link. I always tell people, stick a microphone in front of me and, I'm ready to go. So, yeah, absolutely. And I live on Zoom. So, literally you could send me a link and say, okay, Steve, we're going live 10 minutes from now. And, I've already got my dress shirt on, so we're good to go. That's about all it takes is, make sure you're shaved and put on a dress shirt rather than,
there's been times, not very often, but at times at night I'm making a little video. I may or may not be wearing my sweatpants. But you don't see that. You just see right here, right?
Yeah, you know.
Today I'm putting slacks on, but well, if I might ask you, Steve, what was like? I mean, how did you get this process so well nailed down and like literally producing 37 times #1 international? What the heck?
Well, you know, I mean, we've been a marketing company for 38 years, working with authors for going on 17 now. You know, I used to do a one-offs, and they were, you know, year-long books and all that kind of thing. And I just sat down one day. I had a coach encourage me, you know, you should put together a system. And so I sat down, being the big geek that I am, you know, I went through like about 1,000 books, and I was like, what is the process of a book? And I outlined all of that. And so, yeah, I created a webinar that's called Rate Your Bestseller in 1 hour. And I've got folks that have literally used that and just written a book from it. But, you know, we always encourage people to just do it via interview. You know, just hop on a Zoom, just the two of us. I'll set recording and transcript going. And about an hour and a half later, you know, I mean, we're going to have the core of your book. And then I've got, you know, the rest of my staff that can help me develop the story with you. And then, yeah, we have the grammar editor we send it to, because none of us like proofreading our stuff either. You know, but,
well, that's awesome. No, I can second that. I was when I finally decided to write my book, which I said was about 5 years ago now, because we were talking about it and we had the cover for it. I've got it around here. It's down here. There it is. It's me on the field at Busch Stadium, because I'm fortunate to work a charity event where they took a picture of me and I was standing there. He said, "Where to get your promo shot?" I'm like, "Of course we do. I'm the Cardinal Cowboy." And so we took this, and I'm on the field going like this. I said, "Hold on, my mom would have taught me to look to the stars, right?" And so I did that picture, and it's become kind of an iconic picture. I've got it on my posters and wall boards and everything. Anyway, I said always at the top, because I look back at my history. So maybe you're helping me figure this out. Always at the top. How is it I always ended up being on the best teams? I had to be a good player to be on that good team also, right? And then how do you end up in the top of the organizations, or the top sales guy, or the top operations specialist that built the Microsoft system? I wasn't really a sales guy. I was an IT guy. But they put me at the top position at the department. They actually kept me there when I wanted to move to the design group, because they said, "You're the only one that can fix any problem." We know these things get designed. They get designed, and then we find out what the problems after they actually put them into production. There's problems, and you're the one that can always fix those things. So my brain works that way. So I started writing books. I said, let me just do voice to text. And I just started, because it's a lot of times, I'm pretty good at typing. My girlfriend's, "How do you type so fast?" I'm like, because I've done it too many times. But it's a lot more efficient to just voice to text. Is that part of what the process you have is? And then you're essentially recording, and you take that recording, and then it'll translate. Now making books is a little easier with that process.
Much easier, yeah. And that's why I encourage people to do it via interview, because then, you know, when you get on a call with somebody like me that knows that whole structure of the book, I can just get you talking. What's actually happening in the background is I'm walking you through a process. But the best thing that can happen is when a person says, "Does any of this make any sense?" Because then I know that you're just lost in the telling me the story. You're just in the presentation of who you are. That's where the core of who you are as a person really comes out. And then, yeah, I mean, we're blessed now because, I mean, Zoom has a great transcription built into it. I do have a great transcriptionist for the times when Zoom, you know, puts Russian lobsters in the middle of whatever it was you're writing. I just use Russian lobsters because I was actually writing a book, voice to text like that. And in the middle of it, it talked about Russian lobsters. And for the life of me, I can't tell you.
Well, it does look like there's some character they put in the middle. It looks like a lobster.
You know, I mean, I'm going to write a whole book about Russian lobsters now, because I have no idea how that fit into that story. Yeah, you know, I mean, so that's just really the powerful way to do it. I mean, we've done a book in as little as 3 days. Now, granted, that was somebody already had a keynote speech that was, you know, honed in. They knew it. They did it all the time. And so we started right from the transcript of that keynote speech. But it doesn't have to be an arduous process. It really, I tell everybody, if your book takes you longer than 30 days, there's other things going on in your life that are keeping you out from it. Not saying that I didn't have to poke Willie a couple of times and then finally just told him, "Hey, Willie, guess what? We're putting the book out. Set a date, and it's going," you know.
Yeah.
And then just to push him even harder, I was like, "You know what we're going to do to promote your Never Stop Winning coming out? We're going to invite people to be in a compilation book as the, you know, the
Winning with Love."
Yeah, you know, and so I made him write 2 books. And then after those 2 books came out, that was late October and early November. And then in December, 1st of December, I was like, you know what we're going to do, Willie? We're going to do a third book. And I don't know if Aaron's still on. I saw him say, "Hey, gentlemen," a little bit ago, but I'm like, yeah, let's do a compilation book. And Willie's like, yeah, let's have Aaron be on it. Let's make Aaron a number one bestseller. And so we actually did that. So yeah, over the course of about, what was it? Really about a month and a half, really.
Yeah,
you did
that week. Yeah, I'm glad you pushed like that, Steve, because that was another new milestone for a brother, man. That was 2 number one international bestsellers in 3 days in the same week for your boy right here. Had you not pushed like that, all right?
Yeah,
crazy. That's historic, man.
Well, I'm ecstatic, man. Willie, you're, like I said, let's set up a time maybe after we do our little finish up here, however long you guys want to go here. But let's set a time. I'm all about you. If it goes on my calendar, it gets done. If it doesn't go on my calendar, it doesn't get done. But
let's do it, man.
Set a time, because what you're doing, I think, really impacts people, and they need to learn. So many people have good ideas. They just don't take the time to put that good idea on the paper and then turn it into something other people can absorb. I have read hundreds of books. You know how I read my books?
Audible.
You knew the answer before. We didn't script that, anybody. But yeah, these books are read to me. That's what helped me realize, how can I listen to a book in 1 or 2 nights? All it is the same text written. So why does it take? And if you can write it voice to text, essentially the reverse of that, then you can write a book in 2 to 3 nights. And that first night I wrote, I just said, I'm going to start writing. And I was voice to text. I got done, and it was all in a single line, and it was like 22 pages. I'm like, okay, well, let's figure out the dimensions for a normal book. And then space it out double, and it gave wider margins. I wrote 42 pages in one night. So the point is, like you said, it's just a matter of going out there and doing it and have the guidance. Because I don't know if my outline, I trust you for that. You would outline for people, here's how you get it done. And in a week or 2 weeks or a month, maybe 3 hours if you're in a hustle. But and this impacts a little bit. How many people consider a New York Times or an international best-selling or an Amazon best-selling author?
Yeah.
10,000 people?
3% it's less than 3% of people who write books, which is about 3.5% of the population have ever actually taken the time to write the book. So
I'm thinking, if it's 3% of the population writes a book,
right?
3% does. That's a little higher than I would have thought. But yeah, I guess
it's about 3.5. Statistically, it's about 3.5%
in America, I'm guessing.
Well, no. So statistically, internationally, 80% of everybody you ever meet wants to write a book, and about 3.5% of them do. So out of the 8 billion people in the world, 80% of that would be approximately 60 billion or 6 billion. And then it's about 3.5% of that 6. So that's, what is that, 180 million or something like that? If I'm doing my math quickly,
I have to get my calculator
rounding it out.
Well, I always take 1% times 3.
Yeah,
but 1% of 6 billion,
3% of that. So
6 billion would be 6 million, right? So yeah, 6 million people, I guess, have written a book. Okay, and that's over time.
Yeah.
But it's only only 3% of those get their book to be sold.
Only 3% of those, to make the bestseller list. The average book sells on average about 40 copies ever in its lifetime. I mean, most of those go to like your mom, and your girlfriend and people like that,
Right.
So yeah, to get the book on the bestseller list, I mean, it's a strategy. It's a day one launch strategy. It's where we're going to start the book. It's like graduating from medical school, I mean, you walk across the stage, you're now officially Dr. the Cardinal Cowboy. That's the next, degree we'll have to give you, and then at the end of the stage, they hand you a bill for all the years you went to school. And they tell you, what you get to do is, is go and do cleanup work for the next 2 to 6 years before you actually get to write anybody any prescriptions. So we could do it a lot quicker than that, but it is really that starting place, like getting that doctorate would be for a medical doctor.
So we hit the number one international selling. How many sales is that, or how do they calculate that? Where we're at? I mean, it just launched.
Yeah, it depends on the category you're in. It could be, Amazon's got to update hour by hour. So again, if you want to go to statistics, if you take a tiny number like 10 sales in an hour, that's statistically more than 200 in a day, more than 6,000 in a month, more than 72,000 in a year, which is to say that a book that sold 72,000 copies last year may have never had an hour that it sold 10. Amazon statistics update hour by hour. So even a number as small as 10, depending on the category you're in, can be very significant. Now, that's not to say go out and sell 10 books. There's a whole lot more nuances to that strategy, and most of it has to do with SEO. You know, you're talking about being a tech guy, so that your book is positioned in the right place. But yeah, I mean, it could be as little as 10. It could be as much as 10,000. You know, I mean, if you want to compete head to head in a category with Oprah and Tony Robbins, you know, you better come with a following of, you know, several thousand people that want to jump on board, you know, and get it right then that day, you know. And I mean,
I've got a little following. I've got overall, I've got about 40,000 followers through my different social medias, and then an extended group of people that like my stuff. I find out that 97% of what I put out there is viewed by people who aren't following me, and that's through my Facebook stats I'm looking at mostly. But I got a pretty good following with Cardinal Nation. I can't go to a Cardinal game. People come up and want to sit down next to me and come over to me and get pictures with me. I'm fortunate. I believe that's a gift because I do have that positive message, or they wouldn't want to embrace that kind of contact. But then Cardinal Nation is 20 million people, from what I understand, according to my resource, which was the executive producer for one of the biggest networks, who I talked to. He says, why? I said, why'd you call me back? Because we're looking for a place to put my show, maybe as an alternative to ABC, just see what else is out there. Not the only network, right? And he goes, I left a message for the guy because I got connections. They gave me his phone number, and I left a message. And 15 minutes later, he called me back. I said, I didn't think you were going to call me back. He's Cardinal Cowboy. But it was years of practice and building. And I want to get to the level Willie's at. I want to get to the level you're at, Steve, because that means we're impacting and helping more people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we want to do it. We want to do it for you. We want to do it to everybody that's listening. And absolutely, you know, we can do it. I mean, just to give you an idea of where you can go so quickly, not last weekend, because last weekend was Willie and I, but the weekend before that, good friend of mine, her name's Molly Mahoney. She put her book out. Her book was #1 in 31 categories internationally. Mm-hmm. She has a following that's just a little bit smaller than what yours is. I think she probably has about 20 or 30,000 followers. Yeah, #1 in 31 categories. And I took the screenshots of every single one of those, you know, and that's across several different countries. You know, it was about 6 different countries that she had rankings in as well. But yeah, you know, I mean, she had in the U.S., she had like 10 different rankings just in the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff, man. I look forward to it.
You said sometimes that's normal when you have a big follow. I think I have over a quarter of a million followers across.
Yeah, I know your Instagram is huge.
Yeah, Instagram is like 180,000. But sometimes your greatest engagement is going to come sometimes outside of those followers, man, like you said. Mm. But bestseller is great. #1 bestseller is great, but other things need to happen. That's what this book is about. That's just the beginning piece. You have to leverage every moment, whether it be good or bad. You have to leverage that book or music, even like when we hit Billboard. It wasn't enough for us to hit with Leonard Skinner's member Stephen Wrench for us to hit #2 on European top 200 Billboard charts. That's cool. That's great. But what's next? So we have a call to action in this book to show you how to take advantage of, you know, your progress. A lot of people don't know that. There's a lot of people. That's why you have one-hit wonders, man, in the music industry. You know, I've been in this industry I think the music industry over a couple of decades. Right. Then what's next after We Love You, Puerto Rico? Then you got Broadway. Then what do we do next after that? Then you have #1 fastest growing company in New York Weekly. Then what do you do after that? Then you go and start getting on covers of magazines. That way you can make a living from your music.
It's a process, man. Well, I got some talent for you, Willie. I got some talent for you too, because I know you help. You've become an agent. Yeah, and take it to that level. So, you tell me, Steve, if you want to go another half hour, another dollar, another week, or if you want to finish up here, you let me know.
Tell them about
we've been talking for half an hour now, 34 minutes, right?
Well, what I'd like people to do is go to authorityvisibilityprofit.com. Authorityvisibilityprofit.com. https:// but authorityvisibilityprofit.com. We put together an incredible opportunity for folks to be able to get Magnetize media. You're going to get it in both digital and print form. And Willie and I created a companion workbook to go with it. A person can jump in there and get all of those, and of course, everything's going to start from there. We're going to, if you have an existing book, this is what you need to do. You need to become a bestseller. And then we're going to, and Magnetize Media talks you through every single step of that. And the companion workbook actually has you sit down and talk about, these are the people I'm going to contact, and this is where I'm at, and this is where I'm going to go. You need to have a plan, and we want to lay it out for you. And then, of course, if you don't have a book, we're going to get together with you and help you get that book out. And you, too, could be a best-selling author as soon as next month.
Yeah.
Well, that's the plan. Willie talked to me about it already. He says, you're next.
Yeah. And not only that, you guys are about to be on the Privilege Me and T-Stock as some PR clients here, where we're going to look out for Cardinal Cowboy and Steve on some of your favorite magazines that we've been blessed to be on and beyond. Maybe some that we won't be able. Forbes and stuff like that. New York Weekly front covers. What up, GQ, right?
Yeah, I know you've been on GQ.
So we're extending. That's in the program too. So we're offering that. You're going to get PR once you do become a bestseller or whatever your brand is.
Mm-hmm.
But these fellas, look out for these fellas as well on some extra PR and stuff like that. So PME Dreams.
Authority Visibility. What was that? Authority Visibility.
AuthorityVisibilityProfit.com.
Mm-hmm.
Profit like make money, or profit like leading?
Like make money. PROFIT.
Make money.
Make money.
I gotcha.
Make money. That's it, man. That's what time it is, man.
Because some people think I'm a prophet, but I'm here just to really make a profit. But no, as long as you help people, as long as you're doing good things, the money comes, right?
Keep God first. That's the thing.
There
God
it is.
paramount.
Get Magnetize Media, the book that puts you in the spotlight today. Yes, I want one. There it is. $14.99. Okay. Amazing. All right. Thank you, sir.
Right. Well, thanks for being here with us. We appreciate you writing the foreword for us, and look forward to all the other cool things. And after we get off the stream here, you and I will talk about, getting your book done and all the other cool things we're going to do together. But I really appreciate you spending some time with us here today.
That's
absolutely.
Right.
I mean, there's only a few times in life
man.
where you get to do these kinds of neat things. And I just blessed. And as I put up here, I'm going to put the image of the book behind me, everybody, so you can see this. But literally, like these kinds of opportunities these are once in a lifetime type things. And why would you ever want to sit there and think about it, stew over it, when you could be out there doing things that are going to help you as a professional, help you as a human, and also to help this world a little bit.
Yeah.
Because
that's why we did it, man.
There's so many people out there are just trying to figure out how to make it. And they've got skills, they've got ability, they've got talent, they've got a story. And so why wait any longer? Get it done, help people, show people what you've got, and hopefully along the way you make some money while you're doing it, right? So,
that's right.
Cover doesn't seem to be coming up for you, but it does look very much like my background.
There it is. I've got it.
There it is. I was going to say.
Magnetize Media. Get that book. I'm telling you, it's a secret sauce. A lot of ingredients there that can help you out. It's our way of giving back.
Yeah.
It is.
All right.
Yeah, man. All right, guys.
Thanks, guys. I'm going to end the stream now.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks, guys.